Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a product review for you guys, and the product which I'm going to review for you is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Stay Fresh Foundation. This is what it looks like. Now this product retails for 1325 rupees for 30 ml of product. This is compared to the MAC Studio Fix Fluid by many people. This is my favorite foundation of all times. This is in the shade NC40. This is my summer shade, and I absolutely love this foundation, and I do not think that these two foundations are dupes for each other. Not at all, in fact. The MAC one does give a more skin-like finish, and if you see it, the MAC one has more yellows in it. So for those who have more yellow undertones, the MAC one is obviously a lot better because it has like a yellowish peachy tint to it, which gives the skin more more correction. This one is more pink in my opinion. Now the reason why I don't like L'Oreal foundations is the fact that they are so pink. This is 200 Golden Sand. It's the right color for me because the shade darker to this was darker for me. So this is the right shade for me, but it's very pink. It does not match my undertone, which is why it looks very mask like. I don't know if the camera is being able to pick it up because I'm using artificial light for this video, but it just looks very unnatural. It just like if I wear it during the day, which I would never ever will, people will say, what's on her face? Because it's very dry, very matte. Not that I have a problem with matte foundations. I love the Material Mousse by Lakme. So I am all about the matte foundation, especially in summer because I am oily to combination skin person. But this one is like totally dry matte. It's like you're wearing a mask on it. The packaging is pretty good, pretty damn good. It has a pump, so you can totally regulate the product. Like I think this much, like a pea-size amount, is more than enough to cover your face if you do not have a lot of blemishes on your skin. However, the problem is that the cap has a lot of stains inside if at all you forget to clean the nozzle, and that kind of bothers me a lot. If the cap has a lot of stains, it just looks very dirty. It's something like a personal thing which bothers me a lot. Now the foundation isn't very runny. It just holds its position because it's so dry and mattifying. It's very condensed, if that would be the right word for it, and it's very difficult for me to blend it. Like I used my Real Techniques buffing brush, and I think this is the best brush to use with this foundation. Now for me, the best way to use this foundation would be to add a little bit of oil to it, and whenever I use this foundation, I always use it at night because I cannot carry this foundation during the day. It just looks so obvious in sunlight, natural sunlight. Actually I was seeing how the foundation sits on my skin in natural sunlight, and I was using my 3 times magnifying mirror for it, and it just looked like it's there. It's not that kind of foundation which will blend with your skin and look really natural. It will look very obvious. It's like one of those foundations which you can wear to parties, weddings, where flash photography will be involved, all of that, because this does not flash back. Okay, that is one thing which I wanted to say. This does not flash back, and it doesn't look bad in artificial lighting, but in natural light this is definitely not a daytime foundation, at least for me, who does not like the cake face look. Also, I am all about the dewy, glowy foundation kind of a look, so this definitely does not fall into that bracket. Now what I do is I mix my vitamin E overnight serum and oil from the Body Shop with this foundation to make it a little more emollient and easy to work with. Today I have applied it directly on my face. The demo to which will be linked somewhere in this video. So it looks, I don't know if the camera is being able to pick up, but on the edges of my face it's just looking like I'm wearing a mask. Even though I've blended it down my neck, it just looks very obvious, especially on the mouth area as well, which is why I don't like the finish of this foundation. If you're all about matte foundation, cake face foundation, this is your product. But for me, who likes, like, I'm a more of a matte face and body kind of a person, very lightweight foundation which can be built up and just gives a nice glowy dewy finish. Also the Fit Me from Maybelline is my favorite. I know that a lot of you like that kind of a look where makeup looks like makeup, but for me, I prefer mostly going out during the day, so I cannot afford to wear such an obvious foundation. Coming to the consistency, this is what it looks like. It's really thick and it's not very easy to blend. You know, you cannot blend it with your fingers, and this one cannot be used with your beauty blender. Just don't use it with your beauty blender. It doesn't sit well with the beauty blender, doesn't look nice. This foundation does oxidize, so in case you're planning on buying it, buy a foundation which is a shade lighter, because after say 10 minutes it's just going to adjust itself on the skin and oxidize a tad bit, which the MAC Studio Fix fluid also does. So in that aspect it is quite similar, but in the finish wise thing, I really don't think it can even be compared to the Studio Fix fluid, because the Studio Fix fluid looks very skin like, especially when applied with a buffing brush or something. You know, when you stipple the product into the skin, or if you apply with beauty blender, the Studio Fix looks really seamless, whereas this one looks obvious around the mouth area, also around the eye area, and around the peripheries of the face. It just doesn't sit well for me. This foundation comes in 11 different shades, but as I said, it comes with more pinker undertones, so you will have to try it on for yourself in the counter, wear it I'd say throughout the day, and then go ahead and purchase it if you like it. Just don't go ahead and let them apply it on your back of your hand and, you know, just see, oh, it's so nice, it's so pretty, and let the shop assistant fool you into buying it. It's always better to try it out, see how it adjusts to your skin, whether it causes any allergic reactions or not, and then go ahead and purchase it. A definite advantage of this foundation is that it comes with an SPF of 18. Even then it does not flash back a lot, so that's an advantage. You could wear it during the day, but if you wear it during the day, I would say just shear it down to absolutely nothing, add a drop of oil to it, make it work, make it a little more glowy, a little more dewy, and it will sit right. If you shear it really down to absolutely nothing. As much as I've tried this foundation, I think it can be layered on, but the first layer in itself is so cakey. I won't say cakey, but you know, it's just too much, that you won't need more often than not a second layer of it if you have decently even skin. However, one advantage is that you will not need a concealer. Like, I'm not wearing a concealer right now, and see how bright my under eye look. I've just set everything with a compact powder, which I think also is not required if you have normal skin, because applying a compact powder over this foundation would just add more texture, which is why you would definitely need a setting spray. Now today when I was doing my makeup, I was like, where is my setting spray? There's so much texture on my skin. It just goes on adding one texture after another. Doesn't sit very effortlessly on the skin the way I like it. L'Oreal claims that this foundation can last up to 24 hours, and I wore this foundation for 8 hours at a stretch when I was at home, and I did not even go out that day, I remember, and it did stay well for say 5-6 hours, after which it started getting patchy around the mouth area, around the nose area. It also coagulated around my nose, which almost all foundations do, so I do not have much complaints in that aspect. However, the one thing which I would like to mention is that it does not fade off, like, you know, how can I say that? It's just really patchy when it just fades off. I also did not apply any primer underneath it, so I cannot even blame the primer for it. It doesn't go off like gradually. It doesn't fade evenly. It's very uneven when it fades off, and then when it's like a blotchy patch over here and a blotchy patch over here, it just becomes really obvious that you were wearing foundation and it just wore off. That can happen because I live in a very tropical climate. I live in Calcutta and it's really humid over here, so that could be one cause. So if you live in a very cooler area, probably it would wear for longer. However, if you live in a very cool and dry area, this foundation is definitely not for you, because it will definitely accentuate the dry patches which you have on your skin, especially around the nose, around the mouth, around the lips, on the center of your forehead, like wherever dry patches commonly appear, it will definitely make it more noticeable, and if you add powder over it, it will make it even more noticeable. I would highly recommend using a good moisturizer. Even if you have, say, combination skin, use it around the peripheries of your face wherever you're normally more dry. I would say that applying a moisturizer is absolutely imperative when you're using this foundation, because otherwise it will just cling onto your skin and just not blend smoothly. If you already have it and you can't make it work, adding a drop of oil will definitely help. Add like a drop of almond oil or maybe grapeseed oil, and probably it will work better. It will glide smoother and look a little more dewy. I won't say dewy, but it will look a little more skin like. Otherwise it looks really dry and very obvious. So that was my review of the L'Oreal Infallible 24 Hour Stay Fresh Foundation. For more reviews, do not forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you like this video, and I will see you very soon in my next video.